Welcome back to another episode of Girl Boss Bible. I'm your host, Katy Clay, and this is the podcast for girls with goals. This pod talks about everything from life, career, how to succeed as a female out there in the big wide world, and lessons that we don't necessarily learn growing up. Today we're talking about something that affects pretty much every single part of our lives almost, and that's money. I am very excited for today's guest. I think a lot of you are going to relate. I do massively, and for reasons we'll go into later on. And Beth is joining me. She's a chartered accountant. She's a personal finance creator, and she's the woman behind the platform Beth's Budget Diary. She helps people be more confident with the money. But what I love the most about Beth's story is that, similar to me, she's a chartered accountant, didn't have it all figured out, wound up in a significant amount of debt herself, and now she's helping other people get out. So welcome to the pod, Beth. Hi.
Thanks so much for having me. What an intro.
Honestly, yeah, it's true. Yeah, get me on the Brits. No, yeah, thanks so much for joining. This is something that I need. I know a lot of girlies need as well. So yes, welcome. How's your week been? How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm all good. I actually recently quit my 9 to 5 as a chartered accountant to be a content creator full time. So honestly, I'm just like kind of figuring everything out as I go, figuring out new routines, figuring out new money routines. So yeah, it's all a bit crazy over here at the moment.
Oh my God. So is that a bit nerve-wracking as well financially? Because it's up and down, it's not stable, right, I guess. So that must be a bit of a shock.
Yeah, so it's funny because I've worked in finance for 10 plus years and I've always had a set salary every single month. I know exactly what I'm getting paid. So to then go from that to then be self-employed and not really knowing what's going to be coming in or out every single month, that has been like probably the biggest worry for me. But having said that, I actually built quite a hefty emergency fund before I left my 9 to 5, just to give me a bit of a cushion. So if things did go completely horribly wrong, I had something to fall back on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, well, sounds sensible and the kind of stuff we need to be doing. So how's your week been then? Like, what have you been done this week? Typical week of a self-employed gal. What do you do?
So I would say yesterday was quite full on. So I did a couple of stories in the morning on Instagram. Then I filmed 3 videos in the morning. And then I went to Pilates because that is my new love at the minute, Reformer Pilates. I absolutely love it. And then in the afternoon, I edited those 3 videos and then got one of the videos ready to post for that day. And then a lot of it's just, answering DMs, comments, emails, working with my agency on like brand collabs and stuff like that. So yeah, every day at the minute is completely different from the day before. So yeah, it's kind of good and bad in a way because yeah, as an accountant, I feel like everything we do is so cyclical and everything's in a routine and we know exactly what we're doing. Whereas this job is like completely the opposite. So yeah, it's just kind of getting used to my new normal, really.
Yeah, it's a far cry from the rinse and repeat of month end and all the rest of it. So.
Yeah, but you know what? I kind of miss it in a way, that routine and the mundaneness of it.
Yeah, I know. They're the parts of my job that I love because I know what I'm doing and I know it's deadlined and it's thingy. But we can delve into that in a bit because we can definitely have a really good chat about accountancy for all those that might be completely thrilled and interested in it. But first of all, have you got a boss move of the week?
Actually, so on Instagram, I've started a side hustle challenge because in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be going on my first ever solo trip abroad. And I wanted to like get some spending money together. So I thought, what better way than to start a side hustle challenge? And just through selling stuff on Vinted, I've actually got a clothes rack behind me that you can't actually see because I've pushed it out of the frame. Just by selling stuff on Vinted, I've sold £125 worth of clothes just like since last Thursday I started. So yeah, absolutely buzzing with that.
Oh, love that. Well, on that note, I've had one of my girl boss moves that have written in. I've had two come in this week. One is Emily, who got back into a Vinted empire. So very similar.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, she's got that. And then another girl, Becca, did a half marathon. So
oh wow, yeah, she smashed it then.
Yes, and I'm gonna picky off the back of that. And my goss move is that I've got a PB in 5K for the second week in a row.
Nice. I cannot run for the life of me.
Well, funny thing is, I did a pod a couple of weeks ago with Libby again, and I was going, I don't run. I'd never dare run. Duh, I hate running. Don't know what's happened. About a week later, started running, and now I'm doing the 10K in November, and I'm doing High Rocks in December. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm running with it, literally.
I'll just stick to my reformer Pilates.
Oh, it's the best. I do love that. Right, cool. Let's start at the beginning then, because like we say, you're a chartered accountant, same as myself, but you took a bit of a different route than me into it. So I did an economics degree, so semi-relevant, and then joined a company, wound up in as a finance assistant just by chance. Thought this is sound. I'm going to pursue that as a career. And then got through. I did ACCA. But obviously I had the uni exemption, so I could go straight into it. But what did you do? Because you had a different route to me.
I did, yeah. So when I went to college, I did accountancy as one of my A levels. And to be honest, I just kind of fell into it. So I just turned up on a college open day, not really knowing what I wanted to do or what direction I wanted to go in. And I basically said to one of the teachers, I'm really good at maths, like, what do you recommend? And they just pushed me down the accountancy route. So I thought, why not? I'll give it a go. So I did my A levels. I then did apply to go to uni, but then I just backtracked and ended up not going to uni in the end. And I got an apprenticeship. So I started off in an accounts firm. I would do 4 days in the office and then 1 day at college, doing my AAT. So I did that. I absolutely hated working for the accountancy practice. I was there for 6 months. And then, funnily enough, or very ironically, I moved to a debt management company to carry on my apprenticeship. So I went from practice into industry. And I absolutely loved it there. I was there for 5 years, I think, as an accounts assistant. And then I moved to Cheltenham. So I'm from Manchester originally, but I moved to Cheltenham in 2018. So I ended up moving jobs then just to a local insurance company, which again, I absolutely loved. And I was there for 8 years, I think. So a very long time. But in that time, I studied for SEMA. So yeah, again, slightly different to you. And I kind of worked my way up the chain in the insurance company. So started off as a management accountant, then finance business partner, and then I ended up being financial controller. So that was my last role before I quit just very recently. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to hear different routes for accountancy, but you all kind of end up at the same place, don't you?
Exactly. And I think the main difference, Beth, is that you're not in 60, 70 grand's worth of debt. So maybe that's the way forward. But it's funny because this is why I like accountancy as well, for people that maybe don't know what they want to do. Because say you've just defined it perfect there. You start as an assistant. Then you could be like a financial accountant, management accountant, and then work your way up, financial controller, manager, CFO, whatever, it's endless. But you can end up C-suite there, which I always liked the idea of. But, that's working in industry. I've never worked in practice. And I like industry. I like working for a business. I like feeling like I'm doing real business than just rinse and repeat doing people's books for them would just probably bore the life out of me.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you experienced before, right?
Yeah, because I used to, I was essentially like the tea girl as well. Like
Yeah.
they did treat me like the apprentice. And I just absolutely hated that. But I just hated like when clients would come in with like a shoebox full of all like dirty receipts and I'd have to comb through them. And I just knew instantly it wasn't for me. And same with you, like industry was just better suited to my personality, my vibe. Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not, no offense. People can do really well in it, but not for me. I like being in a business.
Yeah, me too. And I always said like financial controller was like an absolute dream for me to get to, but I never wanted to progress much further than that because I've seen like finance directors and CFOs, like the amount of stress that they are under. I didn't see that being something that I wanted to do personally. I think it's very normal for people to continue like trying to climb that corporate ladder and chase the big bucks, but for me, like I was really happy with where I was at and the money was good. I had a good work-life balance and yeah, I think that is sort of like a really important factor to consider, not just the money aspect of it.
Yeah, it is that sweet spot as well. And I love that there's that many levels, you can, because management accountant's still well paid and that sort of level's still pretty decent. So, and you can be part qualified and stay there and not do any more. So, it is actually a really good career path if you don't know what you want to do and you've got that good at maths. You don't mind hitting deadlines. I like being told these are your dates. Hit them. Don't be late. And then I can go, right, I can compartmentalize it all in my own head.
Yeah. And also, just on that, like a lot of companies will pay for your studying as
Yeah.
well. So it makes it kind of a win-win situation for you to just start at the bottom as an accounts assistant, have the company pay for your studies, and then just like see if you like it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. And that's why it's brilliant. Like my company paid for mine, they put me all through it. And like I said, you've got no debt now. You're at the same qualification level as me because it's sat as a master's essentially. I think it sort of sits around a master's level, and that AAT is like the intro into it to get you ready for it, and then you do that sort of master's level on the next bit. So, it's and you start work straight away. You start earning money straight away. If someone has to leave at 18 and go into it, you're earning a wage. So, not that I regret uni, but it's certainly something that I would think about a lot more now, for the younger generation for sure. So, first thing, obviously, as we just said, we're both chartered accountants. Now, you ended up in quite a bit of debt, and it's funny because I think people would think that being so financially, educated, that we would then be great with money in our personal lives. First question, just off the back of this, is like, did you ever feel a bit of a fraud being a chartered accountant and being in debt?
In a way, I never actually thought about it in that way. So I actually started work when I was 18. As I say, I got my job in the accounts practice. I got my first paycheck, which was about £800. Like it wasn't like mega money, but at the time I felt like I'd won the jackpot because I'd never had such a large sum in my bank account before. Yeah. And funnily enough, with that first paycheck, I bought a holiday.
Yeah.
And I think I went to Lanzarote. And it was in that moment that snowballed into me getting into so much debt because I would have this money coming in and then it was funding my lavish lifestyle. And I don't think the work that I was doing in my full-time job, I don't think that was exactly the same as handling my personal finances. It felt very disassociated. So I was very good with business finance because that's what I'd learned and that's what I'd picked up over the years. But in my personal finances, like I had no idea what an ISA was. I had no idea what sinking funds were. I wasn't taught how to manage credit cards properly. So I think the two are very different things. So I think that is the misconception, is that just because you've got a finance background or you're very good with business money doesn't necessarily translate into personal money, because there's different elements to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's so drummed into us. We have to follow law, policies, certain practices. We're doing it as part of a, what's the word? Not,
I think there's structure to it as well. Whereas with your own personal money, I mean, I treated it like monopoly money. Like there was no rules. I would go and buy clothes every weekend, luxurious holidays, going out for food all the time. Like there was no rules, because it was my money, so I could do what I wanted with it.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you say, with business money, there's set procedures and rules, and you just can't do what you like with business money. It's totally different.
Yeah, no, because we're liable as well as accountants. So, it's a lot more. The ramifications are a lot more dramatic. So you're less casual with it. But obviously you was buying all these different bits and going on holidays, and you're just singing my hymn sheet right now. But did you realize that you was getting in trouble, or did it just kind of creep up on you and you just got to a moment where you thought, shit?
Honestly, it did kind of creep up on me. Like, I knew that at the beginning, it was totally under control. I'd had my credit card. I was putting little bits on it, but then I was paying it off in full. Like, it was manageable. But then ever so slightly, it just started creeping up. And like the luxurious holidays definitely took a big dint into the credit card, because I was going to places like the Dominican Republic and, like really lovely holidays. All these excursions, and paying for my partner at the time, because I was just splashing the cash,
Yeah.
And it didn't fully hit me how much debt I was in until I just sat down one day and added everything up, because I had about 5 credit cards by the end of it. It wasn't just one where I could log on to the app and then see my total balance. It was here, there and everywhere. So actually, I think because of that, I didn't fully know what trouble I was in until I added it all up.
Yeah. And this is what happened to me. So I'll give you a bit of a brief background, actually. So I was buying a house. In the lead up to buying my house, I got a credit card to build up my credit rating. And I was doing exactly that. I was buying stuff, paying it off straight away. Lived great. My credit score went up. Perfect. Then when I moved in the house, I kept spending more and more on it, and paying my whole wage would just go on my credit card. And my mum said, stop leaving yourself short. Like, you don't need to pay the whole thing off, you can just think it. But I thought, this is how financially uneducated I was as a young girl. As an accountant, I thought the 24% interest was a monthly interest fee, right? So if it was £1,000, I thought I was getting £250 a month interest charged. So I was petrified to leave it. Mum went, Kate, that's over the year. I said, you are joking. And I've said to her, that's the worst thing you could have ever done, is tell me that. So that was that. Then you get a 0% fee. Transfer it across. That's maxed out. Then you start spending on the other one again. Then you get another one, transfer it across. And then you just get in that cycle. But they're all on 0% eventually, but you're all just spending. So is that what happened to you when you ended up having like 5 cards? Because I had 5 total as well.
Yeah. So it's funny really as well, because once you get one credit card and you start spending on it, sometimes they also increase your limit. So it's almost like permission to go and spend a little bit more. And exactly the same as you, I would then get another credit card, 0%, transfer that over. And I think the 0% is almost dangerous in itself, because you're then like, oh, but I'm not getting charged any interest, so it's fine to leave. I'll pay the minimum repayments, but there's no incentive almost to get that paid off.
Agreed.
And then before you know it, that 0% interest period has finished and you're back paying the interest, and then you get another credit card, do another transfer, and like the cycle just repeats. And I think it's difficult for me to look back on it now because I've learned so much over these years. Like, it almost feels like a bit of a different life that I lived back then. But I just know how easy it is to snowball into that situation. And yeah, I have not had a credit card ever since my last payment to my credit card, because I just know how easy it is to get back into that situation.
And this is the thing, because there's so many benefits to having one as well. You get things insured, and you get better, and you get points for flights. I have just got one out here, but I haven't paying it off at zero balance. But it's like you get all your points and stuff. So there's benefits, and I want to be one of them people that can do that. But I guess if you just thought, I'm just can't do that, I'm just not one of them people.
Yeah, so I have looked into it before, because I do know in my mind I'm absolutely fine now. I've learnt my lesson. I've had years and years of saving and reaching my financial goals. Like, I know I'm in a good position mentally to get another credit card, and I know the points are good and you can get air miles and there's all these other benefits. But for me personally, like, I just don't feel ready yet. I think it will be a big moment when I do decide to get one. But for now, I've just decided, like, I'm just going to steer clear for now. And that's sort of like my boundary at the moment.
I like that. Maybe I need to take a leaf out of your book on that. How much debt were you in then at your lowest point then, Beth?
So I had £18,000 in total. So this was across 5 credit cards. And I also had around 2.5k on my car finance. So I actually bought, only a little Citroen DS3. I think it cost me about £7,000. This was years ago. And I don't know why I did it, but I ended up putting 2.5k on car finance, PCP I think it was. And then the rest I withdrew from my credit card and then paid cash. So it actually probably cost me more to do that rather than just put the entire thing on car finance. I have no idea why I decided to go that route. But yeah, that's what I did. So basically all of my car went onto some sort of credit or debt. But yeah, it's around £18,000 when I totted it all up, which I just couldn't believe. You know, if you were to ask me what I'd spent that money on, like, apart from like clothes, food and holidays, like I don't understand where £18,000 went. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, Beth, yes, I know exactly what you mean. So it's funny because I had a car loan for my car, and my mum kept saying, "How much debt are you actually in now? How much debt are you in?" I kept going, "I don't know, about 15." And same as you, when I had it all up, it was 25 grand. And then my mum went, "And you got your car loan?" And I'm like, "I know, but I don't count that." And she's like, "What do you mean you don't count that?" And I'm like, "Well, that's not a credit card. That's just my monthly repay. I pay that monthly. It comes out direct debit. Not classing that as a debt, weirdly, either. But it was just my credit cards." And she's like, "No, Katie, that's a bank loan. You owe the bank money. That's debt." So it's just like, yeah. Have you had a moment where well, you must have. Like, did you have a moment where you just thought, right, this has got to stop now?
Yeah, so funnily enough, I ended up having a conversation with my partner at the time, and we'd never spoken about debt or really even money before that point. But we sat together and we said, look, what are your financial goals? Like, where do we want this relationship to go? And we really wanted to buy a house together. And I sort of said, well, I've kind of got this thing that I need to tell you about. Sort of demon in the corner. I've got £18,000 of credit card debt, so I really need to get that gone if we were even considering buying a house. And lo and behold, he then said, "Oh, I've actually got around, I think it was around £5,000 debt to his name as well." So just by opening up that conversation, we'd learned that each other has got credit card debt, and we really wanted to focus on it together. So that actually really helped motivate me as well, because then I just thought, oh, it's not just me, like, we're in this together. and we can do it. So we sat down, we put a proper plan in place to both pay off our debt. And yeah, then we just sort of like kept going from there. So each month we'd pay a little bit off, do a bit of side hustling, any kind of pay rises or bonuses that would go towards debt. And I managed to pay off my 18k in around 18 months. So it was quite a fast process if you think about it. Obviously 18 months is a long time, but I think for such a big sum, that's actually pretty good going. And once I paid that off, I then just quickly shifted my focus into saving towards our first home deposit. So because I was already in that routine every month of paying a large sum to my debt, when I finished it, I literally just moved that over and started saving instead. So actually, I always say I don't regret getting into debt because I built up those habits that I then turned into a positive. So actually, it worked out.
Yeah, so you're used to losing that money, not losing it, but you know, you're used to that money leaving your account each month, which is really good. When you say sort of you sat down and planned it month on month, what did you decide to tackle first? How did you do it? Was it like credit card by credit card, or what? What did you do?
Yeah, so like I say, I had 5 credit cards. A couple of them had small-ish balances, so like £1,000, £2,000. I decided to just get rid of those first. So I didn't really look at how much they were charging me necessarily, because I know a lot of people try and focus on the biggest interest rate debt, because that's the more expensive one. But for me, I found it way more motivating to just tackle those smaller ones off first, so that I could then just focus on like one large balance at the end. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I set up a very basic spreadsheet, like a debt payoff plan. So I listed like my budget, what my disposable income was, and how much I could afford to pay off my debt each month. And then I sort of had like a column for every single month with how much I was going to pay. So I knew exactly what my goal date was because I had like all the payments listed out on the spreadsheet. So that was quite good for me to every month check in with the spreadsheet and see how I did, see if I paid off a little bit less or a little bit more, and then I could just update it sort of as I went. And that was like absolute game changer because I could see it all like visually. It wasn't just on a credit card app, you know, as one total. Like I had a proper plan of action to tackle it.
And did so you looked at that month to month. Were the months where you came under what your goal was for paying it off?
Yeah, so it kind of did fluctuate really. So we'll come on to this a little bit later anyway, but I didn't save any money whilst I was paying off debt because I just didn't feel like I could mentally do both. But what that meant was anything that came up out of the blue in the month, I would have to put on my credit card. So my car, my little Citroen, it was an absolute nightmare. And I broke down so many times and had like flat tires and my axle went, and there was just everything seemed to go wrong at the worst possible time. But because I had no savings, I would have to lump that back on my credit card. So it was almost like 2 steps forward, 1 step back in those scenarios. And even like my friends would say, do you want to come out for a brunch, or do you want to do drinks? Do you want to go for a coffee? But again, because I had no savings and no disposable income, I would have to then lump that on a credit card because I still wanted to see them, go out with them. I didn't want to be like, sorry guys, can't afford it. Like that was just not something I did back then. So yeah, there was moments where it, like I say, it was 2 steps forwards, 1 step back because I'd be having to lump more expenses onto my credit card.
Yeah, and then like you said then about meeting up with friends and things, was the things that you refused to sacrifice? Was it stuff like that in that sense?
Yeah, but I think that's only because I wanted to portray this image of I'm okay with money. Like my friends didn't know at this point how much debt I was in, or I don't even think they knew I was in debt at this point. Like it was very a taboo thing to talk about. We just didn't talk about it. So for me to actively say, sorry, I'm not coming to brunch because I can't afford it, that just was not something that I wanted to do. Now it's a different story because we openly talk about money in my friendship group, and actually we've kind of stopped doing the brunches, and now we much prefer to like stay in, do a craft, or get some cheese and nibbles in. Like, feel like we're a bit old now going out. So we have changed our ways in that respect. But it just feels like such a much easier conversation to have with my friends. And it all started off a couple of years ago just by like slowly integrating that into the conversation. But yeah, back then there was just no way that I was going to refuse to do any sort of social activity or anything like that.
But it's good to know that you could still have a life whilst paying that off, and it's still, you still want that, you still want to see your friends, you still want to socialise and do them things. What did you sacrifice?
So yeah, like I say, like my image was quite important to me. Obviously I was early 20s, so image is like everything. And I would spend so much every single month on how I looked. So I would get my eyebrows threaded, tinted, waxing, get my hair done, get my nails done. Like there was so much that went into my image that when I looked at it, I was like, God, I am spending an absolute fortune here. And even on nights out, I would get my hair and makeup done, like £50 just gone on hair and makeup. So there was actually quite a lot that I could cut back on from day one. So what I did was I went through my bank statements for like 3 to 6 months. I proper like downloaded it and put it into a spreadsheet, and then categorized everything into like a negotiable or a non-negotiable. So there was things like, obviously we were paying rent at the time, or my utilities, all of that I couldn't do anything with. That is just, it is what it is. But all of my other like discretional spending, so all my beauty appointments, they were like the first to go, because I was like, you know what, my debt payoff journey is way more important than looking a certain way or being perceived in a certain way. So that is something that was just scrapped from day one, and it's the best thing I ever did.
Oh God, you've just scared the living daylights out of me, Beth.
Why?
I mean, you can't. I am bald as a coot, to be honest. I have like no hair, so I have hair extensions, Botox. I mean, although what I have done just since I went home, because hair's so expensive here, it's like $1,000 for like highlights.
Oh my God!
I changed my hair, so I've gone back to my natural colour. So actually I don't need to get that done anymore here. So I suppose that is one thing, but the extensions are quite a lot. But all I need to do is get these refitted each time. Anyway, by the by. But yeah, I get it. I think having a social life is well more important than looking a certain way. So it's one of them where just get over yourself and living your lifestyle.
It's all down to personal preference. So like there are certain swaps that I did. So like with my eyebrows and my nails, for example, instead of paying for somebody to do that, I learned how to do it myself at home. So I was still spending a little bit of money on like the dye, and I got like a machine for my nails and all the colours and everything. So that probably cost me, I think it was around £50 to get the kit. So I still spent a little bit of money, but then over those years, I probably saved like so much. But now that I've paid off my debt and I'm in a better position, I've started integrating that back in. So now I get my nails done. Like that is a nice little luxury that I have. I still get my hair like highlighted every 8 to 10 weeks. Like there's certain things that I've now integrated back in because I can afford to do that. So I think it all just depends sort of on what you value and what you want to invest in, essentially.
No, I love that. I totally agree. So just going back on what we were just talking about a minute ago about women and being in that friendship group and not feeling like you can share. Because to me, it's so important. Oh my God. I mean, I'm talking about it live and direct on the podcast right now, so everyone bloody knows. But all my friends know, and such a funny story. This literally just happened yesterday. This is how they know me so well. I put in the chat that everyone was saying about meeting up at Christmas, but this is in England. I said, oh, we're going to Fiji for 10 nights. And my friend Katrina, I'll call her out, just replied going, aren't you meant to be saving money? And then my other friend Gemma went, all right, Martin Lewis. Oh, which is so funny.
We all need friends like that.
Yeah, and she's been on the podcast. She's a doctor. She's mega sensible. We love her. She's a great friend. But we're so open. Everyone knows what I'm like. They can check me if it needs checking, and I hope they all feel like they can. And that's what you need, a bit of that pressure sometimes. So why do you think it's difficult for you guys to have that conversation?
I honestly just think it was something that we never thought to talk about. I think in like we were 18, 19, 20, like pretty young in the grand scheme of things. Like money wasn't a thing we spoke about. It just seemed very like sensible and very adult to talk about that, when you're out on a bottomless brunch. Like we were just there for the vibes and the drinks and the dancing. Like it just wasn't something we ever thought was important. But once I told my partner how much debt I was in, then I told my dad how much debt I was in. And then just over time, I became more confident in telling people. And that just then filtered through to my friends, like very little and often. And I would sort of say, like, I can't afford this. Can we do something different instead? And I think it's just something that you've got to practice at. It's not going to be something that is normalised in every friendship group from day one. I think it is a habit that you need to practice. And that's all we did. And over the years, we have gotten to that place now where we can just say, I can't afford that. Can we do something different? Or I've just been on holiday with two of my best friends, and there were certain things where I've gone, oh, that's a bit expensive. Like, can we try something else, or maybe not do that and do something else, or just not do that entirely? So I think if you're in that situation where money is a taboo topic, or it's just not talked about in your friendship group, I would just try and slowly integrate it into conversations, and sort of say, like, I can't afford this month. Can we push it back to next month, or can we swap a night out to a coffee date, or can we do something at home? And just sort of, like I say, integrate it naturally. It doesn't need to be like, right, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about money. Like it can just be a casual conversation.
Yeah. Or like I always used to bring it in with like in jest, like I have been doing with you today. Like, oh yeah, girl, it's going on the credit card. Oh, and like trying to like in. Did you find any of your friends were in debt as well at all? Or was anything like? Was it ever like, oh my god?
No, actually, it was just me.
Yeah,
but that was fine, because your friends are there to support you. If it's going to be anyone that's going to support you, it's going to be your friends, because they've grown up with you, or they just love you, they want to support you. So to openly say, like, I'm in debt is actually quite an empowering thing for you to be able to do. And that just means you're comfortable with the people that you're telling. So I think that is such an important thing to champion and to cheerlead. So yeah, if it's going to be with anyone, tell your friends, because regardless of if they're in a situation like you or not, they're going to help you, they're going to support you, or even just to be an ear to you. They'll be there for you.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think it's there's like a bit of a pressure to sort of look financially stable nowadays, especially as a woman?
I think so. I think there's a lot of social media pressures as well to look a certain way, or to have a certain lifestyle, or to have the biggest or nicest house, the biggest, nicest car. I think everyone is way more pressured these days than even a couple of years ago to have that lifestyle and to have that look. And I think what it boils down to is what matters most to you. So, like I say, I don't have the biggest house, I don't have the most luxurious car, but that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that I'm living like a nice life. I've got my friends. We socialise. Like, that is what matters most to me. So if you're having those pressures internally and trying to compare yourself to people online, just take a step back and see, is that actually what I want? Is that the life I want? Because most of the time it probably isn't. It's just you're used to seeing it online.
And most of the time, it's not true what you're seeing. So don't worry. Like I said to you in our pre-call, I was in Ushuaia, I was in Barbados, doing all sorts, all on debt. And everyone will look at me and think, she was just, what a life she's living. And it's like, yeah, no. I mean, I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong, but it's fucked me up now. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Like, yeah, it's, they'll be better off now, and don't stress. You're all on your own paths, and money-wise is a bit mad. How do you feel about this? Because this what I'm just going to say now is something that I struggle with. So when you get a salary increase, how do you stop them wanting to inflate your lifestyle?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean?
Because that is something that got me in the past. I mean, as you know, in finance, if you're passing exams, that usually comes with a little bit of a pay rise or a bonus, especially if you're hitting certain levels. And that is what caught me out massively years ago, because I would get a pay rise and then I would just go and spend all of that money on a holiday or clothes or whatever it might be. And what I should have done is took that pay rise and saved the excess money. Like, I shouldn't have just spent it. But it is really hard when you're in that situation to not want to celebrate your success almost. So you would get a pay rise and you think, oh my God, amazing. I need to go out and celebrate. And it's really hard to take a step back and go, you know what? No, I've survived on the smaller salary, so actually that extra money can go towards something else. It is really hard to do that, but I wish that I had done that back in the day.
Because it's one of them as well. I'm always like, but you deserve it. Like, you work so hard, and this is what you work hard for. You work hard to live this life, but it's not a sustainable life. That's the issue. Get the sustainable bit, and then you can do all of that and tenfold, imagine. What do you think then, this might put you on the spot a little bit, what is the biggest financial mistake that you see women in the 20s making?
Oh, well, this is very personal because mine was my image. I would probably spend £200 a month on all of my beauty appointments, and I look back now and I just think, why did I feel like I needed to do that? Like, to try and make others perceive me to be different to what I actually was. Like, I think it's quite sad in a way. Like, I felt like I had to do all of these appointments to make me look better or look a certain way, to make others perceive me in a different way. And I wish that I didn't do that, and I wasted so much money on all of that stuff. And for what? Like, it didn't actually make much of an impact to my life, and it wound me up in so much debt. So that is the biggest mistake that I made, at least, and I'm sure lots of people will probably relate to that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, just made a big noise there. Sorry, Beth, one sec. Let that stop. Okay, so in terms of, like, you see all these different money experiments out there. So what ones have you done? I guess you've tried and tested a few out there. Which ones have you done that actually work?
So I've done challenges. I'm a big advocate for a challenge, like a no spend challenge or a saving challenge. Like I said earlier, I'm doing a side hustle challenge at the minute, trying to sell some bits and bobs online. But when I was paying off my debt, I would actively do like no spend challenges quite a lot. So what I would do is create like a printable on Canva, and it would have like a box for every single day of the month. I would then print that off, and then I would colour the boxes in every single day. So I'd come up online and colour my little boxes in, and that was my way of being accountable. So a no spend challenge for me isn't about like restricting yourself and not spending for the entire month. What I decided to do was have a couple of guilt-free spend days. So I would have 4 or 5 a month where I would say, right, these days I'm allowed to spend money on. And then what that did was it stopped like the 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening, like doom scrolling and buying, because
Yeah.
it wasn't my day to buy anything. So that just helped sort of stop or at least slow down that impulse spending trigger that I had. So on those 4 or 5 days in the month, I would then go back to the stuff that I thought I wanted to buy, and actually the moment had passed, so I didn't even want to buy it anymore anyway. So no spend challenges really, really helped me. Same with saving challenges. So at the minute, and last year as well, I'm doing the 1p savings challenge on Monzo. So does it automatically for you, so you don't need to like be moving money around yourself. But essentially, on day one, you save 1p. Day two, you save 2p, and it goes up like that. And on the last day of the year, you'll be saving £3.65. So it does sort of ramp up towards the end of the year. But I just find that is so good for like building that habit up. So over the year, I'm going to save around £670 in total.
Wow.
If you think like that is a decent sum of money just by saving little and often every single day. And like I say, with Monzo, it does it automatically. So I don't even need to think about it. So yeah, I did that last year and I'm doing it again this year. I think I'm up to about £265 at the minute. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. I love a challenge.
That's great. They sound that first one you just spoke about is really just spoke to me. I feel like I need to do that. Have you got all this? I know you've got a website, Beth, and I know you've also made like a. I also meant to ask you about this. Side note, do you love Bridget Jones's Diary? Is that where this has come from? Because I am Bridget Jones's biggest fan in this world.
Yeah.
So
that's hilarious. No, I actually started off my Instagram as Bridget Jones Diary.
No, yeah, that's what I just saw it this week, and I thought, oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, but I think I probably rebranded around 3 years ago because I just wanted something that was mine. It wasn't like a play on words. It was something that I could call my own. But yeah, the Bridget Jones Diary days, they were good.
Yeah. So have you got something like this on the website you can get and stuff like that with all these
so
tips
I've got resources on my website. I've got an Etsy page where you can buy stuff for super cheap. But honestly, like Canva is your best friend, and Canva can be free. Like you don't have to pay the subscription to get what you need. So personally, I found it really fun creating the savings challenge and the no spend challenge in Canva. It's very quick and easy to do, and I would implore anyone to like give it a go. Because like I say, just checking in with yourself every day for just a month, it doesn't have to be like a long period of time, you're going to hold yourself accountable, and it's going to just make you think a bit differently about your money.
Yeah. And when you say no spend, what does that entail? Is it like, obviously you need your groceries, like you need to do food shop. That's part of that, I take it. You just...
So what I had a list, and I had negotiables and non-negotiables. So for things like all my bills, utilities, rent, food shop, that would not count towards my no spend challenge because I would have to buy that anyway. The point of the no spend challenge for me was to try and curb my impulse spending. So it's all the discretional spending that would then be counted towards the no spend challenge. So buying clothes, buying bits and bobs off Amazon late at night, like all of that sort of stuff, that would then be tracked. So there were certain moments where I didn't meet my goal for that day, and I would have to colour in it in a red colour so it would like stand out on the sheet that I'd spent some money. And then I would list down what I'd spent, why, and what feelings or what the scenario was. Because then what you can sort of see is any sort of patterns, like is it late at night? Is it when you're doom scrolling? Are you bored? Like, are you hungry? Do you want to order a takeaway because there's no food in? And you can see different spending triggers and different spending patterns. And that was the point for me of the challenge. It wasn't to restrict myself from spending. It was to see the reasons why I was spending in the first place.
Oh, that sounds brilliant, Beth. That is really cool. Cool. It is. That honestly sounds so. I don't know. I just feel like that's really opened my eyes. Like, yeah, that's brilliant because it is that impulsivity of it all and that hit where do you know the worst of it? Shein, when you do it and you get 2 weeks later, and then I'm like, fuck, what is this?
Yeah, and you've forgotten you've even bought it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, that is brilliant. And then it makes you think, you know what, if you get to your day of your spend day and you still want to buy it, you obviously, you know, it's worth spending the money on. So that's a brilliant one. And so's the Monzo one. They're really, really good. Was there any sort of habits that you started and tried that you thought, oh, this is going to change my life, and it just never really had much impact?
So, two things that really, really helped me in terms of money habits was one, having a monthly payday routine. Like that absolutely changed everything for me because it gave me permission just once a month to sit down, have a look at my money and decide where it was going to go for the month ahead. So what I would do on my payday routine, I would first of all look at my pay slip to see how much money I was going to be getting in every single month. I would pop that in my spreadsheet. I just did a very basic little spreadsheet to begin with, income at the top. Then I listed all my expenses, what my disposable income was, and how I was going to divvy that up into my various different goals. So savings, investing, or paying off debt. And what that helped me do was help me see the bigger picture. So it wasn't like I was getting, you know, a couple of grand in my bank account and I didn't know where it was going. I was actually like making a point of sitting down once a month and divvying that up into my various priorities. So that really helped me. And then second of all, my sinking funds pots, they absolutely changed the game as well. So every single month I save for things like Christmas, birthdays, holidays, car insurance, I even save for the dentist. Like I've got quite a handful of things that I save for. I mean, some of the sinking funds pots, I only save £5 or £10 a month. It's not massive. But then some things that I deem like top priority, like I'm saving for my house renovation at the moment, I might save, you know, £300-400 if I can afford it for that month. So it sort of just depends what the sinking fund is. But that just changed everything for me. Like I said at the very beginning of this podcast, with my little Citroen breaking down, any sort of thing that would crop up in the month, I would have to lump on a credit card. But now I've got my sinking funds, if something happened to my car tomorrow, I would have at least a little bit of money to put towards the repair of the car because I've already saved that money up front. So honestly, I would implore anyone to start a sinking fund pot, especially for Christmas, because I know in December how tight money is for families. And if you were to save little and often throughout the year, that is just going to relieve so much financial pressure come December.
Yeah, because it's all the going out and everything with it. It's just the whole shebang, isn't it? Not just the present. So how much do you save in different pots then? So like you say, Christmas, what we put in, like maybe 50 quid in or something like that, or what's your average?
Bang on the nose. So I save £50 a month for Christmas. Things like my car insurance, that's actually quite easy in a way to calculate, because what I do is just take last year's amount that I paid, I add on a little bit, usually like 10%, just in case the insurance goes up, and then I just divide that by 12 and then I save that amount every month. So yeah, for my car insurance I'm saving about £85 a month for that. Christmas £50. Birthdays, like I don't have a big family, and me and my friends, we've just decided we're not going to get each other birthday presents. Like that's just something we don't do in our friendship group. So it's just my family and my partner that I buy presents for. So I honestly just save like £10 a month for birthdays and gifts and stuff. It doesn't have to be a lot. So yeah, it just kind of depends really on what your circumstances are and what you want to save for.
Yeah. Our friendship's got a great. We've been doing this for 15 years, even since school. We used to put £5 each in, get a gift, but there's 10 of us, so you used to get a decent gift. And then at 21, we £10, and then we've not budged it ever since. And it's just stayed at £10 each, and it's nice because it's like we always get a gift, but we never spend a lot of money on each other ever. It's like your £10 and that's it, and it's just a nice little gift.
Yeah, because I think sometimes like you receive a gift and you're like, why would I want this? Like, not to be ungrateful or anything, but why have you bought me this? So I'd much rather someone not waste their money on something that I'm not going to use or I'm going to re-gift to someone else. I'd rather them just
Yeah.
save the money. So that's just something that we do.
Yeah, no, totally. We're all like whoever's organising your gift, like I'd like text my mate Emily, like I need some running trainers, like, and we get each other
That's
things. So you can just it's perfect and it's just a nice little thing. So yeah, but we would never go more than that amount of money. That's like it gets expensive then. It's too much.
yeah.
And if you're buying someone an individual gift, it's 20 quid or more, isn't it? It's not great. Right. So on the savings pot then, so well, not on the savings part, say have you got like an emergency funds pot? Like how does that sort of sit and how much should we actually be saving for a rainy day kind of thing?
Emergency fund, I've actually got two. I'm a bit greedy. So one, my emergency fund for things like house things, like if my boiler was to break down or my fridge was to stop working for whatever reason, I've got that emergency fund. And at the moment, that's got around £500 in it. So if I
Mhm.
was to dip into that, I would probably top it up like £30, £40 a month. But then I also have quite a large emergency fund, which I was talking about earlier, which is my safety net for quitting my job. So I decided to start saving for that separately, keep that completely separate from my normal savings and just have one set pot that I was to save for my safety net. And I was pumping
Yeah.
quite a lot of money into this because this was my goal, like this was my dream. I really wanted to leave my 9 to 5 to pursue content creating. So I knew if I was going to do that, I needed to like focus on it. So I was putting between £500 and £600 a month into this safety net. And over a good year or at least a year, I amounted to around £30,000 in my emergency fund. Now, I don't
Hmm.
expect anyone listening to this to save that amount of money because this is a very unique situation. And I
Yeah.
decided to save at least 2 years worth of my living expenses. So I know
Oh yeah.
I can give this a real good go for 2 years and I don't have to have money be a worry for me. So that's a unique situation, but for the average person, I would probably say 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses is a good amount to aim for. Um,
Right.
it's very hard to save such a sum of money, I know. So I would literally just try and plug away any amount that you can into this emergency fund every single month because the
Mm.
peace of mind that it's going to give you is going to be so worth it.
And do you think it's like once you hit that goal, you can stop and just leave it in there, you know?
I would say so, yeah, because then you can focus whatever money you were putting into that goal. Once you've reached it, right, what's the next goal? And start pumping your money in towards that instead.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, right. On savings. Now, this is what I want to know. And we'll delve into it in my thing in a minute. But if you've got debt and savings first, sorry, if you've got debt, you've got no savings, what do you prioritize? Really, what do you think?
So I always give two answers to this because I have my circumstances where I didn't save whatsoever when I was paying off debt. And actually, that kind of hindered me in a way. So, although I paid it off in a short space of time, I didn't have any savings behind me. Anything that cropped up in the month would go on a credit card. And that was quite demotivating for me. But now I'm on the other side, I always tell people to save money, whatever they can, whilst they're paying off debt. Because one, it's going to build better habits for when you've paid off your debt and then you start saving again. Two, you're not going to feel as restricted because you've actually got some money behind you. And three, just like the peace of mind that it gives you, like with Christmas as an example, if you've saved throughout the month, it is going to feel so good come December where you can just spend from your savings rather than have that panic of, right, I've got to lump this on a credit card, or I've got to find the money somehow. It is just going to motivate you so much and give you such peace of mind. So yeah, I always give two examples there. One of what I did, and then one of what I wish I did. Two very important things to know, obviously. But yeah, I would implore anyone to start saving, even whilst they're paying off debt. It may feel like a bit of a step backwards, and it may take you longer to pay off the debt, but it's going to be, so much better for you.
Yeah, because I think that's it. I don't know why. When you see a snapshot of my finances, I think all my money just gets thrown on the credit cards.
Yeah.
And I do think, like you say, it probably would feel a bit more motivated from watching a little pot go down on this side and a little pot go up on that side. And then you're thinking, okay. What about investing? I actually don't know anything about investing. And again, chartered accountant, you'd think, should be fully in the know, but I have no idea. Do you invest now? And
so do you have a workplace pension?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're already an investor.
True words. Look at you go. There we go.
Already invested. So yeah, a lot of people don't realise that their pension is an investment. Obviously, it's for much later in life, but your pension is being invested. So you're already an investor right now if you're opted into a pension. But what you can also do, if you're in the UK, for example, we've got things like a stocks and shares ISA. So you can put money into the stock market, and any gains, any interest, any dividends is going to be completely tax-free because it's under the ISA wrapper. So I personally invest between £200 and £300 a month into my stocks and shares ISA. At the minute, I'm sort of slowly reducing that, only because of my financial situation at the minute. Like, it's very uncertain with me just leaving my job. So investing has sort of taken a little bit of a back seat, but I'm still investing. I'm still consistently keeping up that habit because I know how much of a difference it will make for me in later life. So the thing with investing as well, it's long term. I'm not somebody who is like constantly logging into the app, looking at my daily performance, looking at the ups and the downs. Like, that is not for me at all. I literally just pop the money in once a month on payday and then let it do its thing, because I think it needs to be a non-emotional thing. Whereas if you're looking at, I've lost X amount today, you might be tempted to sell or invest in something else that might see better returns. And I think once you start putting the emotion in, I think that's where people start going wrong, in my personal opinion. So like I say, I just set and forget, pop the money in once a month and let it do its thing. And then I'm not going to touch that money for at least 15, 20 years.
Right. Okay. And then obviously that just gains dividends or whatever goes through, like you say. And to be honest, like, it is a long-term thing, because I know from the stock market it'll go up, but it'll go up like that, right? So it'll go up and down, but in like an upward trajectory, I suppose.
Yeah.
What do you pick? Is it like based on risk, I think, isn't it, that you pick what you want to do, what your appetite is?
Yeah, basically. So with your pension, a lot of the time it'll be invested into a default fund. So whatever the pension provider has, it will invest that for you. But a lot of people don't realise you can go on and change that. So they'll have loads of different funds that you can choose from, and you can choose depending on what risk appetite you have. So some people might be really risky and they might go, right, I want to dump all my money into crypto and just see what happens. Whereas some people might be less risky and they might go, you know what, no, I want to just invest in bonds or ETFs or S&P 500. I want a safer option. So you might see less of a return over time, but it's more guaranteed than some of the riskier options like crypto. So it completely depends person to person on what a good investment would look like. That's just something you're going to have to figure out. But with stocks and shares ISAs, you can get like ready-made funds where you just invest in whatever they say. You can get robo-advisors, or you can do like a custom-made portfolio, which is kind of what I've got, and you invest in specific things that you want to invest in. So there's a couple of different options that you can go down with investing. But like I say, it is completely personal preference and just something that you're going to have to feel out and figure out for yourself what you want to invest in and what your risk appetite is.
And would you say that's something to do after paying off debt, for example? So say, do your debt and have your little savings pot, but maybe not invest until you're in the position, or is that something we should be doing as well?
Yeah, so with my pension, I invested in that every single month regardless, because with your workplace pension, like your employer's contributing as well. So I didn't want to opt out of that and lose out on free money essentially from my employer. So I always made that a priority, that I was never going to opt out. But I didn't start saving in my stocks and shares ISA until I'd paid off my debt, until I'd started like actually saving and growing good habits. So that's just something that I did. But same thing with saving for me, although I didn't do it whilst I was paying off debt. I think it's probably quite a good thing that people should consider doing just to get those habits going. And the earlier you start with investing, the more time you've got for that compound interest to grow. So kind of the earlier you start, the better. But it just depends what your financial situation is and how much disposable income you've got as well. Like that plays such a huge factor into it.
Yeah. With an ISA, with like a stocks and shares, is that one where you can't take it out as well? You'll get a penalty.
So with a lifetime ISA, there is a penalty, but with the stocks and shares ISA, there's no penalty whatsoever. So you can sell your investments at any time and get the money out, and you're not gonna have to pay any tax on it. But yeah, no penalties whatsoever.
Yeah, because when I was saving up for my house, I had a Help to Buy, and that was unreal because I didn't want to bring it out. And what I did with this is the only time I ever saved money was saving up for this house. And I had it with a different bank to my bank. So I didn't have it on the app. I didn't download the app. I didn't even know my login for it at one point. I just sent £200 a month to it and never looked back. And I couldn't even check the balance. And then every so often I'd go, right, I need to log in and see how much I've got here. But it was because I couldn't see a thing from it actually worked really well, because once that money went, I didn't even think about it. And I couldn't even, if I want an impulse buy or I'm out shopping or I'm out shopping online, I can't just transfer the money over quickly and buy something. It was like, whoa, so far away and removed from me that it was great. But yeah, that's what, if I was to do that, I'd probably just try and get one with a bank that I don't bank with, and then I can just go, see ya. I'll see you in 10 years or...
Basically, is that set and forget. I love that term. You literally just set it. One deposit goes in a month. You just forget it even exists. Because, like I say, once you start putting emotion into it, you might start going, "Oh, I could sell a bit because I need some money." Like that's where you need to stop. But yeah, I had a lifetime ISA, so I didn't get the Help to Buy. I got the lifetime ISA. And again, exactly the same as you. Like that was so motivating, because I didn't want to withdraw from it because then you get the penalties, but just saving every single month into the account, and you get the government bonuses with that as well. So it's kind of like free money. It's like an incentive to save into it. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I love an ISA. Just takes the tax sort of difficulties away as well with an ISA.
I know, it's funny because even though I'm an accountant, I also never consider any of the tax implications, because I've never been earning that income or, different bits. But like, actually, if you're earning interest, you're going to pay tax and all the rest of it. And it's like, you don't think, do you? Because I've just never been in that situation. So it's way above my head. Right. Okay. So talking of savings and debt and all the rest of it, if it's okay with you, I obviously had 25k. I'm now at 11k. So we're a little bit. I'm at 11. I don't even know, Beth. Am I 11? I'm at 11. Let's go with 11.
Over halfway.
I'm over halfway. So I'm down to 11. Let's do a little bit of a money audit. So what I can tell you, I mean, I think I like salary transparency, but I don't think I need to be saying what I earn. However, what I can tell you is, after paying all my bills, after paying all my bills, my rent, my utilities, my share of everything, I have £2,000 disposable. right?
Yeah.
But that's for everything. So that's for going out with my friends, buying clothes, paying off my debts, doing everything, holidays, etc. I have £2,000. Right, what would you do now in my position?
So what I would say is I would list out what your priorities are. So when it comes to debt, I would branch that off into two sections. I would say one is your minimum repayments, because that's got to go regardless. And then two would be anything extra, because that's going to be like discretional. Then I would list things that you want to work towards, so your goals. So do you want to start investing or put more into investments? Do you want to start sinking funds? So with going out with your friends, your holidays, if you're doing house renovations, like list everything out. Even if you think it's unattainable at the minute, list everything out that you want to work towards. Then what I'd do is order that list. So you at the top, number one priority is X. It could be your holidays, because I know you like going on your holidays. So the top thing, regardless of what happens in the month, you're going to be saving for your holidays. And then you would just go down the list. And then the thing at the bottom, that's the least priority on your list. If you've not got enough money for that month, you're not going to save towards it. That's how I would tackle it, because that is then creating a budget or a plan that's specific for you, not just what I do, because I might have completely different priorities to what you've got. So I would definitely start off there. Then once you've got your list, decide how you want to divvy up that £2,000 into those various categories. So you might say, here's my car insurance amount from last year, I'm going to add on 10%. My goal for this year is £500, so I'm then going to save X amount every single month. And you want to almost allocate an amount to each of those items on the list. And then at the end, hopefully, you're going to have £2,000 worth of goals to work towards. If you've got less, then great, because say you've got £1,600 allocated, you've still got £400 there that you can pump into more of the goals, or more fun money for the month, or whatever it might be. But honestly, just having like a visual representation of what goals you want to work towards is going to be so good and so motivating.
And what portion do you think I should put to the debt and then to living my life? Do you know what I mean?
See, this is kind of where it comes to personal preference, because I personally would pump as much money into my debt as possible. So debt would have been number one priority for me on my list at that time. And holidays would probably have come second, because I like my holidays as well. But
yeah,
I wouldn't pump all of my I wouldn't put £2,000 onto my credit card and pay that off every month, because then I wouldn't have anything saved for. I wouldn't have anything to my name. So you kind of want to strike that balance. And this list as well might change over time. You might do it 1 month and go, oh, that didn't work for me. Like that priority order wasn't working for me. It wasn't right. I'll change it next month. It's going to be like a fluid thing that you just update as and when you go. But yeah, you want to strike that nice balance between still paying off your debt. That is a huge goal for you. I would still focus on that. That's got to get quite, it's got to be on top of the list. But all of your other things, like, don't forget about them, because it's about living life as well. And I just wish I wasn't as restrictive on my debt payoff journey, so I could have that life that I wanted to live. So this is a good opportunity for you, really, just to see kind of what works for you. And yeah, like I say, just adjust it as you go.
Yeah, because I think you're right. What exactly what you were saying at the start. I pay it all off my credit cards,
So
and then I
you've got
spend on it. Yeah, and it's and you think, and I'm buying stuff that's like, I don't know, a takeaway, and I think I have to put it on my credit card because I've not got a penny cash in my bank. You know, I've put all on my credit card to pay it off in the hope that I won't spend as much on my credit cards. If I just go, this is my funds for the month, this is my credit card for the month, and that will actually be so much better. I just feel a guilt that I should pay every penny off it, you know?
Yeah, no, I completely understand. But something that really helped me, like when I paid off my debt and I started doing my sinking funds, one sinking fund that really, really helped me was having a fun money pot. So I would allocate myself £300 to £400, like a decent amount of money, on anything I wanted. That was my guilt-free spending for the month. And I could spend that on clothes, takeaways, like it really didn't matter. I wasn't tracking it. As long as I didn't go over the amount that I said that I allocated for that month, I was absolutely fine with that. And honestly, that was like such a light bulb moment for me, because yeah, I wasn't having to lump it on a credit card. I wasn't having to pinch from a savings pot elsewhere. Like that money was there to be spent. And some people might go, oh, that seems a bit wasteful, like £300 and you don't really care what you're spending it on. But that's not really the point of it. The point is that I have mentally allocated myself guilt-free spending money. And a lot of the time I didn't spend all of the money and I was able to save whatever was left in the month. But just being upfront with yourself and giving yourself permission to spend, it almost like works the other way, and you go, oh well, I've got the money there, like I don't need to spend it if I don't want to. So
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I've defo. Okay, so how this is something I do. How do you avoid I've already spent loads of money, the credit card's already up to here, what's another 50 quid? You know, like that sort of cycle of, oh, it's only another 20 quid, it's only another 50 quid. How do you kind of break that mentality?
So I would challenge you to start tracking your spending. And this goes back to the no spend challenge as well, where you literally cannot spend Monday to Friday, let's say. Your spend days are on a Saturday. What you want to do is, tell you what really helped me, and this is really funny. I stopped going to B&M or Home Bargains on my way home from work. I used to always do it, and I used to think I was Mrs. Hinch, and I'd get my little Hinch haul, and I'd spend like 30 quid on cleaning products or whatever it might be. And I used to think back then, like, it's 30 quid, like, doesn't really make much of a difference. But I kid you not, once I stopped doing that, I started seeing so much of a difference, because it adds up like crazy. You might think it's only 20, 30 quid, but over a couple of weeks, a couple of months, that is like racking up to a serious amount of money. So yeah, definitely challenge yourself with what you're spending your money on. Are there any patterns? So for me, it was just on my way home from work. It was on my route. I would just nip in, just have a nosy, see if I fancied anything. Like there was no specific reason why I was going, but I would always end up buying something. So for me, the trigger was B&M and Home Bargains. So I cut that out and I stopped going. For you, it might be takeaways. So on a Friday night, you fancy a pizza. Instead of that, I ended up getting like freezer pizzas, like emergency pizzas. So if I did fancy a takeaway, I could just whack an oven pizza in instead. So I'm still getting that satisfaction of having like a cheap food, but I wasn't spending all the money to get it. So it's just about making like simple swaps. That's what I found was like the biggest thing that helped me, was just simple swaps, or literally just like tracking what I was spending my money on. Because when it all boils down to it, like even my B&M and Home Bargains hauls, like I would just end up with so much tat. And I'm like, was it really worth spending the money on all of this home interior stuff I don't actually like, and that doesn't actually like all go together, because I've just bought it like willy here and there. When you think, God, I have worked my arse off for like a candle that I don't even care about, like, is it actually worth it?
Yeah, and just like a squidgy or something, you know, like Mr. Bloody Daddy on I'm the exact same. It's I just think sometimes you walk out the door and 50 quid's gone, and you're like, what? Wow. No, I totally agree. Right, we spoke about debt, we talked about saving, and I feel like all these tips for debt are also the same tips that apply to saving, because it's the same situation, right? What about and that's what we're doing with our normal income. What about increasing our income? So you're doing the side hustle now with Vinted. What other side hustles are there where we could just top up our income a little bit?
Oh gosh, there is so many side hustles, and side hustling is what helped me pay off my debt in the first place, because there's only a certain amount that you can earn at your job unless you're allowed to do overtime, or unless you're getting pay rises and bonuses. Like, your wage is your wage. So if you want to speed up that process, you want to either decrease your expenses, increase your income, or both. And that is what I decided to do. So I tried every side hustle under the sun. So I've always sold clothes on Vinted. I think that is a really good little money maker, especially because the reason why I got into debt was for buying so many clothes. Like, I have got literally a shop's worth of clothes that I can sell on Vinted. So that's always been a good little earner. One thing I did in our previous house, which I can't do here, which I'm really sad about, is I rented out my driveway. So we used to live near an office block, and I would rent our driveway out to somebody that worked in that office block for £100 a month. And I just used to park on the street. So it was a permit street, but then we all had a drive. So we would literally just park our cars on the street, and then he would use the driveway. So that's a nice little bit of extra money. Obviously, not everyone can do that. Like, we can't do it in this house because we don't have a driveway. But if you do, that is such a good little earner. Answering surveys, that's a little bit of a smaller earner. Like, you're not going to make big bucks from answering surveys, but it's something that you could do whilst you're making your brew in the morning, on your commute. There's just little pockets of time in the day where you can slot a side hustle like answering surveys in. Market research, that is a good one, so getting paid for your opinions. Mystery shopping as well. So this one's actually quite a unique one, because you're almost feeling like you're spying on somebody in a shop, sort of like noting down everything that you're doing. But that can be a nice little earner. And I've actually done a mystery shop where I've got an entire meal for free, like a 3-course meal and drinks completely for free. All I had to do was answer a couple of questions about my experience, about the staff, about the restaurant, was it clean, that kind of thing. And I got paid to do that, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, there's literally a side hustle for everything. The one that I've not tried that I actually really want to try is pet sitting. So I am such like a crazy cat lady. I love cats. So I'm actually thinking of doing that for my side hustle challenge. Booking onto a cat sit, because you can earn like a decent amount of money. And one of my friends, actually, she travels all around Europe cat sitting. So a lot of the time, like, if someone's gone on holiday, they'll almost rent their apartment out, with cat sitting being like the main priority. So you can stay in their apartment and just cat sit, but you get to travel around the world. It's kind of, it's crazy side hustle, that, but I'd love to give it a go.
Like au pairing for cats. I love it. Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, okay. I didn't even think about, like dog walking or things like that.
Dog walking. Selling clothes, like, obviously you can sell DVDs, CDs, books, home interior stuff. You could tutor. Like, what you want to do is find something that you're good at as well. Like, I think I would probably be quite good at tutoring, say for like maths. Like, you could tutor people for pretty much any subject. If you're good at it, why not monetize it? You could set up a shop on Etsy selling printables or crafts, if that's what you're interested in. Like, just have a think about it, because there's probably a side hustle out there for anybody and everyone.
Yeah, I tutored at uni. What was the company? Oh God, it was a company you just sign up, and I tutored Spanish, because I speak fluent Spanish. In fact, I don't know why I'm not doing that. And also economics. I had 3 that I did, and I think I got like 50 quid a week doing it. Hey, you've just sparked something else. Right, okie doke. I love all them side hustles, and Vinted's great. Vinted's just started in Australia. I've been dying for it to come here, so I'm buzzing about that. Oh, amazing. Couple of bits that a couple of girls wrote in. So Emily asked how much should she be saving in the rainy day fund, which I think we sort of covered. So you want to look about 3 months of your salary. Not your salary. Yeah, of your salary. Oh, of your bills. Of your bills. Okay, so get me right. And then another one was about around credit card points and flights, which you say you've not dabbled in yet.
No, so like I said earlier, like building up points and getting your air miles is such a good benefit, but I think it's kind of a tightrope to walk. Like, you don't just want to be getting the credit card and then spending on it, because usually there's like minimum spends as well. So I looked into a credit card recently where you had to spend like £3,000 in the first month or first 2 months, and that's quite a lot of money. So what I don't want people to do is spend all of that money just to get points. Like, there has to be, like, you got to be sensible about it. So a lot of people tend to put like their bills on the credit card, so it's stuff you're gonna spend anyway. It isn't just, oh, I need to book a £3,000 holiday to get my points. Like, you got to be sensible.
Flight.
Yeah.
Pay for flights. Yeah.
But yeah, once you've got the points, obviously you can use them towards flights. You can get companion vouchers. So if you bring in a +1, you can cash stuff out to gift cards. Like, there are a lot of different avenues to make a little bit of extra money by using credit cards. What I would do is, I don't know if you use AI at all, but I recently got AI to do like a credit card comparison of how much roughly I would earn in points by spending on X, Y, and Z in the month. And that just helped me like kind of visualize what credit card would be best for me, and sort of like the criteria that I need to reach to make these credit cards worth it. Because a lot of the time as well, they come with like an annual fee. Yeah. So you want to weigh up, is the annual fee worth paying to get these points? And AI just helps you sort of like just compare all of that just very quickly. So I would definitely give that a go if you're interested in getting a credit card like that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was all from our listeners' questions. I make myself cringe, and laugh my head off, Beth, honestly. Right. This has been brilliant, an absolute eye-opener. A couple of standouts for me. Defo the no spend challenge. The downloading your statements in Excel, that I'm going to do, and I'm going to be sick at myself. I know I am. I'm definitely going to do that.
Well, you'll love a spreadsheet anyway. This is right up our alley.
Yeah, get the colour coordinated and love it. But I think that's a fabulous idea, doing that, and then creating, the rest of it with it. Yeah, it's real eye opener, and then also I'm definitely going to start spending. Saving.
No, that's not the point.
Oh no.
Don't do that.
Oh, sorry, Beth. That was really funny. What a word to say. Definitely going to start saving as well as paying off my debt, and allocating myself some fun budget, because yeah, I think that's all going to change. I will check back in with you, Beth, as well. I'm gonna.
Oh, please do. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah, before I let you go, we're going to do some girl boss commandments. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. 2, we're going to put in the Bible. No, straight in the Bible. They're going to be from our girl boss commandments, and one of them is something that we want to put in the bin. We don't want in the Bible. So question number 1, is one piece of advice from a woman that you really admire or love that has stayed with you.
So my mum, she actually passed away in 2018 when I was 22, and she was just like my biggest inspiration, like, at all. And because she passed away so young, like, her ethos was always, obviously, save for the future, but don't let it stop you from enjoying your life in the present, because life is too short. and you can save and save and save into your pension. But if you're not enjoying your life now, kind of what is the point? So I always like to sort of strike that balance in a way, and it's given me a very unique perspective on life in general. So yeah, I would definitely say that invest in the future, but yeah, don't let it impede on the life you want to live now.
Yeah, split it between investing in your future and your life. I love that. I'm so sorry about that, Beth, as well. That's so awful. But beautiful at the same time that you've chose her. So, what's one piece of advice that you would like to pass down to the next generation of women?
So something I always like to say, which might be a bit controversial in a way, is to always make sure you've got financial independence. Now, I live with my partner. We do have a joint account that we pay our bills from, but we don't have any joint savings whatsoever. We've just decided as a couple, our finances are best off being separate. Now, I know a lot of people have joint accounts where all of their money goes into and all of their bills go out and everything is together. But for us, that just doesn't work. And I think it's so important as a woman to have financial independence, to give us choices. So if a relationship isn't working out or a job isn't working out, like, money is going to give you choices. And I think that is so empowering for a woman to have choice. So I would always say, yeah, give yourself a little bit of financial independence. Know where your money's going. Know what bills you're paying for, what savings you've got. And yeah, be an independent woman.
Beth, I love that one. That is fabulous and amazing advice. Do not ever rely on no man. Yeah, that is so important. Of just, you lose yourself, I think, if you don't have your own money. Like, I couldn't even dream of having to ask to buy something. Is this okay? I'm taking it out. It's like, no.
I think it works for a lot of people. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's necessarily wrong for you to have all of your finances combined. But I just know for me, I want to be able to leave situations where I'm not fully happy and not let money be the deciding factor. Like, I don't stay in a situation I'm unhappy in just because I can't afford to do it, or money is like all muddled up and I don't know what's mine. Like, for me, just having everything separate is just cleaner, tidier, and just gives me a bit more, I don't know, financial peace of mind, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, you've got to have your own money. So yeah, that's a really important one. Definitely in the Bible. So, so the last one is one piece of advice that you've heard before and you think needs going straight in the bin.
Oh, you know what? When people say, like, cut out your avocado on toast or your coffees to be able to save for a home, like, I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, obviously, good money habits and saving money is what's going to get you to buying your home. But cutting out everything that gives you a small little bit of joy every single month, is it actually worth it? Probably not, for the £4, £5 that you're going to be saving. Like, your time or your energy is better focused on something else. Like, you could be side hustling that money instead, rather than cutting out the stuff that you enjoy. So yeah, that can get in the bin.
Love that. Yeah, especially coffee. Girl needs a coffee.
Oh god, yeah, coffee and a cake on the weekend. Dream.
I must say, it's dead cheap here for coffee though, like £2. When they go to Europe or the UK, they're like, what?
£5 minimum, really.
Well, I said that we pay. I say to him, like, we paid $10 essentially for a coffee in England. And they're like, $10. I'm like, it'd be like $3 here. It's like cheap as. But anyway, we digress. Beth, this has been brilliant personally for me, but I think so useful. There's so many amazing tips in this that people can just use to help save for goals. And I think that mental image of having a goal, I don't think I've ever even considered that. So yeah, this has been brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on. I feel like keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully you keep growing a bit more, and we are become female Martin Lewis. I'm sick of hearing his voice, to be honest. So it'd be nice to see a girl do it.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks for
Yeah.
having me. Honestly, we've had such a good conversation. Lots of good tips in there, lots of good little nuggets of information. So yeah, I hope it has been useful for the listeners. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And everyone, if you've liked this episode, please comment, like, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. And yeah, I'll be back in a couple of weeks. So thanks so much for listening, and thank you, Beth. Bye, guys.